Now, response to this protest, we have on the line the General Manager of Uber South Africa, Alon Lits, who joins us live on the line. Alon, thank you so much for joining us, and what I can only assume was a very busy day for you and your staff. Let's start with this morning's blockade, if you will. Wide-ranging repercussions in this morning's peak hour traffic. How were your services to and from the airport impacted this morning?
Good morning, Marcel. So I think like everyone, obviously anyone on their way to the airport this morning would have been frustrated by the blockades and heavy traffic. You would have been able to get an Uber as per usual, but obviously if you were on your way to the airport, you would have encountered the traffic on the way like all the other commuters impacted.
And how have you communicated with your drivers about how to deal with the situation that could, to a certain extent, have probably become aggressive at some point, depending on the situation that they found themselves in?
Well, I think the key message is to remain calm in all situations. Driver partners do have access to a safety and security number. In the event of an emergency, they can call this number and security or medical response will be dispatched, depending on the severity of the incident.
Now, on all accounts, this was a protest by metered taxi drivers against your platform, Uber. It's not the first of these kinds of protests. We've seen it at various times over the last few years, and not only in South Africa, obviously, as well. They maintain, amongst various reasons, that they're protesting against Uber because they believe that it is a business that is not regulated like metered taxis are. What is your response to these accusations?
So I think there are a few points. I think the first point is that all driver partners on the platform go through a licensing process in the same way as metered taxi operators. So we would strongly dispute that point of illegality. I think the second point is that Uber is an open technology platform. And I don't think that the taxi drivers today represent the majority of metered taxi operators on the roads in Gauteng. We're seeing more and more metered taxi operators partnering with Uber. It is an open technology platform. It's not about Uber or taxi. It's about Uber and taxi and how we can really create win-win scenarios for both.
Tell us a bit more about that. If you're saying that some metered taxi drivers are working in conjunction with Uber, how would that relationship work?
So it really depends on the individual. There are some partner drivers who choose to work on Uber during their downtime. So, for example, there's an individual who works usually outside of the Gautrain. Rather than only being reliant on foot traffic to and from the Gautrain, a driver could log on to the Uber application during their downtime and get access to more riders, whether that's at an office down the road or at a home down the road. So it's really about reducing downtime and increasing the number of clients that driver partners have access to.
Now, we believe there were unconfirmed reports that there was a small group of Uber drivers who decided to come and protest or gather outside your head offices in Parktown in Johannesburg a short while ago. Apparently, reports saying that those protesters were saying that Uber is not giving them enough protection in situations where they are faced with possibly aggressive or disgruntled metered taxi drivers. What has been your response to that?
So look, I can understand the frustration from driver partners. As you mentioned, this is not an issue that's cropped up for the first time. This is something that's been happening time and time again. We are committed to providing partner drivers with security. As I mentioned, there is an emergency number that driver partners have access to in the event of either a safety or medical emergency. In addition to that, we are committed to engaging with metered taxi stakeholders, and we have been and continue to engage with all government regulators and stakeholders to ensure that we can bring an end to this.
Okay, we'll leave it there for now, but I'm sure we'll hear more and more on the story as it develops over the coming hours. Thank you for joining us. That was Uber General Manager for Sub-Saharan Africa, Alon Lits, on the line for us.